Hello, Greg Lawson here. I'm the Texas troublemaker. I recently did a video about why you should not drive for Uber or Lyft. I'll put a link to that video in the description of this video. So this video is a follow-up to that one. This is a part 2. I'm gonna dive a little bit deeper into the reasons and details, and we're gonna get to it right now.
You're looking for trouble? You come to the right place. You're looking for trouble? Just look right in my face.
So if this is your first time to my channel, and this is gonna be a brand new channel, I need you to subscribe. I need you to hit that bell and you'll be notified the next time I post a video. So I talked about reasons why you shouldn't drive for Uber or Lyft. The main reason being the pay structure. They just don't pay very much. They take about half, sometimes a little more than half, sometimes a little less than half of the money while you're doing all the work, and that's not right. Not only are you doing all the work, you're bearing all the expenses. So if you've got a car that you're making a car payment on, that's your expense. You're also paying insurance on that car. But the expenses for driving for Uber or Lyft are the gas. You're gonna have to do a lot more maintenance. So if you're changing your oil every 3,000 miles, that's gonna come around a whole lot more frequent when you're driving for them, because you're gonna be putting a lot of miles on your car. You're taking all of the risk, and that's risk to your car and risk to yourself. And by that I mean, just statistically, the more you're on the road in your car, the higher the probabilities of things happening. You could get into an accident. People get killed every day. But, let's not take it to that extreme. Let's not assume you're gonna get killed out there, but you get into an accident, even if it's just a fender bender, now you need to get your car fixed. Now you have to pay an insurance deductible. Now you're gonna be without your car while it's in the shop. And if you're using the Uber and Lyft to pay your bills, now you're without a car. So how are you gonna pay your bills? So there is a lot of risk involved, but there's also risk to your person. You could get injured in the accident. Also, you're picking up strangers in your car. There is inherent risk in that alone. You could get a crazy person. So speaking of crazy, I was driving through downtown and this woman took one of those rental scooters and she threw it right out in the street, right in front of my car. So, there is inherent risk. I've had really good passengers for the most part in the short time that I've been doing this, but every time you pick up a stranger in your car, there's some risk involved. And also, I recently damaged my rims. I have a luxury car. I have a 7 Series BMW, and I have the M Sport package, which comes with larger rims, slightly larger. They're 20-inch rims. I believe the regular rims are 19-inch. They're blacked out on the sides and stuff like that. It has the M Sport badging on the rims. So those rims can only be replaced directly through BMW, and I can't even imagine how much they would cost. But I know for sure if I had to replace a rim, it would completely erase the income that I earned through driving Uber and Lyft. It would be gone for at least a month just to replace one of those rims. So these are risks that I'm saying that you take every day when you're out on the road. Something can happen. Yeah, I damaged my own rim, so I can hear people saying it now, well, that's your fault. You need to drive better. But when you're out and you're trying to get these people to where they want to go, and you're in unfamiliar territory, and a person will say, it's right there. And you think you're lined up with the driveway, and you turn your steering wheel, and all of a sudden you hit a curb. It could crack your rim. Thank God I didn't crack the rim or ruin the tire, but I did do damage. So there's a lot of risk involved. You're assuming all of that risk as the driver, and I believe that risk is compensable, meaning it is worthy of compensation. These are the reasons I think that this isn't a good thing to do. Driving for Lyft and Uber, you're gonna put a lot of wear and tear on your car. You're gonna put a lot of miles on your car. Unless you have a Tesla or some kind of electric vehicle, you're gonna use up a lot of gas. That's gonna really cut down on your income. I said I was going to get into some details, so let's get into some details. So number one is going to be the way the money is divided. I believe 80-20 is fair. 80% of the money should go to the driver. Lyft, Uber, they get 20%. They're gonna make up their money on volume. I've talked a lot about this in my previous video, and I've talked about it earlier on in this video. So I'm not gonna spend much time on that here. Okay, so let's move on to number two. So I would love to see them establish a minimum pay per trip for the drivers. And I'm thinking like $5. There should be a minimum. $2 trips, $3 trips, that's not worth it. Even if it's a short trip, you know, I'm going out of my way to pick somebody up and I gotta take them somewhere, even if it's not very far, $5. If it's not worth $5, then they should walk. I mean, that's just kind of how I feel about it. If it's an elderly person, someone who is maybe handicapped or something and they can't walk around the block or 2 or 3 blocks away or whatever, then I mean that's perfectly understandable, but I still think it's worth $5 to me. And then whatever Uber wants, if they're going to get a 20% finder's fee like I suggested, then they will get $1, right? So we get 5, they get $1, so it's $6. It'll cost the person $6. That's a reasonable minimum charge for me driving my car to wherever you are, picking you up and taking you to wherever you want to go. Like I said, even if it's a short distance. $5 is not a lot of money. You can't even buy lunch for $5 anymore. You think about it. The most basic lunch in the world is like a hamburger, fries, and a Coke. And that's gonna cost you $8 or $9 these days. So these $2 rides just don't do anything for me, right? If I got to give 3 or 4 rides just to be able to buy my lunch, then it's just not worth it. I'm sorry. So talking about wear and tear on your car, people getting in and out of your car, opening and closing the door, sliding in and out of that passenger seat. My goodness, the shorter trips are gonna cause more wear than the longer trips because it's gonna be more frequent. People getting in and out, in and out, in and out, right? I don't like it. I don't like the $2, $3 rides. And have you ever noticed how people always want to get into the right side passenger seat? I have people walk around from the left side of my car over to that side and get in over there all the time. And I've even mentioned it to a couple people. I say, hey, the left door over here works too, you know? I don't know why people walk all the way around. But you know what that's gonna do? It's gonna put a lot of wear on that spot. That leather in my BMW is not gonna be cheap when I have to get it reupholstered or whatever you do. So here's number 3. If it's a long trip that's gonna take you out of the local area, the driver should be paid both ways. Because that driver is gonna have to come back to the area where he lives, the area where he was working out of. For example, I've occasionally driven people from San Antonio to Austin. So we already know that I'm not gonna find another passenger in Austin that's coming back to San Antonio. The odds of that are virtually 0, okay? It's just not gonna happen. So that means I'm driving all the way back from Austin at my own expense. And that doesn't make sense. I should be getting paid both ways. So obviously when you're driving local, the whole idea is you're gonna take someone from point A to point B. Then hopefully you're gonna pick up another ride close to that point B and you're gonna continue on from there and take that person wherever they're going. And hopefully when you get them where they're going, drop them off, they're gonna find another rider for you someplace in the near vicinity of where you dropped that person off. So it makes sense that they wouldn't pay you 2 ways because you're gonna continue to drive from that point on. But when they take you outside your local area so far that you know that you're never gonna get a rider that's gonna be coming back to where you need to go, they need to pay you 2 ways. So that's number 3. And then these apps could really be better. The apps are not very good. The main thing, and I talked about this also in my first video, but I miss rides because the app doesn't make any sound sometimes. I've never changed the setting on it, so I don't know why. Sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it'll pop something up on the screen And if I happen to glance at it and see it, I might catch it or I might miss it. But if it made a sound, then it's gonna get my attention and I know, hey, there's a ride request that I need to look at and either accept it or not. But I've been made aware that there is a ride request, and whether I accept it or not is going to be my decision, but at least I'm not going to miss it because I didn't see it or hear it because there was no sound. There needs to be sound every time. And if I'm in a situation where I need it silenced, then I can silence it on my phone. I don't need the app sending me silent requests. I need to hear it. Another app improvement that I would like to see, I would like to see toggles or buttons that would allow you to easily perform functions that you perform. For example, when I'm using the Lyft app, I frequently will switch back and forth from premium luxury only to accepting all rides, right? That's something that I do frequently. But the way you have to do it, there's a bunch of steps, and I'll show you that. Okay, so I have a luxury car, so if I go into this Lyft app, one of the things that I do quite frequently is switch back and forth between accepting all ride types and accepting premium or luxury rides only. So in order for me to do that, I have to first hit, you see the 3 lines up at the top left side of the screen. So I have to click on that, and that brings me to this screen. Then about halfway down, just below where it says refer a driver, vehicles and devices, I have to click on that, and then that opens up, and then I click on right there where it says your vehicles. So then that brings me to this screen. So now up at the top where you see my car, right below that, it says see details. So then you hit the see details line there, and then it brings you to this screen where you can select all ride types or premium only Lux. So that's a lot of steps just to do that one thing. It would be nice if right there on the main screen, or somewhere here, maybe in these controls down here at the bottom right side where you're allowed to filter your rides, something like that you could get to easy without having to take so many steps. It took me a while to figure out how to get to it. So little toggle switches, little buttons for things that people might do frequently would be nice. There are things on the Uber app. Now, on the Uber app, if you want to filter your rides by destination, it took me a while to even realize that Uber offered that feature because I never saw it. I couldn't find it. And yeah, these apps just should be a little more user-friendly, and that would be great. So those are some of the details that I would like to see improved on these apps. And that's pretty much all I've got to say today. So let's get together, drivers, on this. You can make comments, and let's give Uber, Lyft our feedback, tell them what we think, and let's see if we can't make this a better experience and make more money. All right? That's it for me. So you guys take care, be safe out there, and I'll talk to you soon.
Looking for trouble? You come to the right place.